Referees arguably have the most important job in football, making decisions, ensuring safety and controlling the game. But something that a lot of referees face is abuse.
Referee abuse is an issue that spans from the Football League to non-league to Sunday League and even six-a-side football. Here at Goals we're going to be setting up an experiment with referee Cameron Kennedy and John Donnelly. But first I spoke to them about what they've been through as an official and their thoughts on abuse.
Abuse I wouldn't be able to say on camera, language of that sort. I've had my parentage questioned, I've had my sexuality questioned, I've had my kids' sexuality questioned, anything that you would never ever say in the real world you get as a referee, and it's people are fine with that. And they say, well, you're a referee, so we're allowed to. But you would never speak to anybody like that in the street. And if you spoke to a policeman like that, you'd spend the night in the cells.
I'd say you get some form of abuse every shift. So one in 3 games at least. But it's usually just, you literally can just ignore them, just laugh it off. You can tell them to shut up, whatever. Once a month, if I do maybe one every 20 games, you'll get a really bad one, maybe every 30 games. No matter how good a referee you are, you're always going to get someone who kicks off. Like sometimes you've got, you'll give a decision, and if you give it that way, then they're going to kick off, and if you give it that way, they're going to kick off no matter what. So,
A sin bin has been discussed, which would result in a player leaving the field temporarily to cool off from an incident. John spoke about its potential if it were to be introduced.
I think it helps a lot, it does. Somebody can commit an offence and you think, oof, it's not just a booking offence, or somebody you can see them building, you can see it and you say, look, that wasn't a particularly bad foul, but the way your attitude's going, I really need you to go off for 3 minutes, just take a breath and then come back on. Sometimes you'll say, oh yeah, that's not our fault, ref. Doesn't matter. I can see a situation occurring. What he did there warrants a booking, so I also want him to go off and cool down. And they come on, and when they come on, they're normally fine. They normally say, sorry about that, ref. You know, it was a bit naughty. Then it gives them a chance just to literally take a breath.
In the next part, we hook up Cameron and John with cameras to document their evenings as officials.
We are live.
Coming. No, it would not have. Stephen, walk away.
mate, do you want to take the time down about 40 seconds ago? Point of interest for you. Yeah.
Under the lights at this football complex in Southampton, players turn up each evening to take part in 5, 6 and 7-a-side football. But for those turning up to Goals this evening, there was a small twist in the tale. Our team had hooked up 2 referees, John and Cameron, with cameras and microphones.
We are live.
Cool.
So, yeah, there you go.
The aim was to capture and document any abuse and incidents that referees face by recording their every move. Here are some of the key incidents from the evening, with bad language, injuries and disagreements.
Wow. Oh, no, Steve, come on, behave yourself. No, he was shoulder to shoulder and he was stronger. No, he was shoulder to shoulder. You offered it first and he was stronger than you. You knew he was coming. No, he would not have. Stephen, walk away. Not tonight, not from you. My opinion. White ball.
Mate, do you want to take the time down about 40 seconds ago? Point of interest for you.
Keep playing, play advantage. Was that Craig bloody good referee? And it was, mate. Yeah, you're right.
Andy, go. Gas middle.
So the black player has pushed the white player into the boards. Not too much in it, but it was dangerous, so I just gave him a final warning. That's why we be careful on the boards, eh? If I don't think that it was his first bad tackle, so I gave him a warning, and then any more and he will have to go for a blue card. Guys, we'll call it half time for now. It's only 40 seconds early.
Andy, go inside and get
some water.
out.
Yes, Luke. Now, you put him down before you tackled, before you got the ball. Yeah, you pushed him before you did it. 6 feet, lads, a couple of steps would be nice. It's direct. Well managed, keeps. Last 5 of the half, boys.
John and Cameron both had successful evenings on the pitch, with most players giving them the respect that all officials deserve, because without a referee, there can be no game. In part 3, I travelled to Hampshire FA headquarters in Basingstoke to speak to Referee Development Officer Andy Moisey about the issue of referee abuse. A recent survey revealed that 2/3 of referees face regular abuse. But is there anything that's being done to actually combat the issue? Well, the FA introduced new laws at the start of the season which see players banned for 5 years if they ever went to the extreme lengths of assaulting a referee. Any physical contact or verbal threats will be met with a minimum of a 56-day ban and a £50 fine. Something that's also currently being trialled is a sin bin, in hopes of preventing abuse. After completing the experiment at goals, it was time to head to Hampshire FA to discuss processes within the Football Association and what the future holds where abuse is concerned. I spoke to Referee Development Officer Andy Moisey. So how big of an issue do you think referee abuse currently is?
In terms of abuse at the grassroots level of the game, I think it's higher than people would expect it to be. However, I think in terms of referee development, what we carry out within Hampshire FA, we have a number of teams that support referees and issues that arise. As we were discussing earlier on, within the county, as the referee development manager, I look after referees within the county. I have a number of volunteers that support that.
So what's the process after an incident's happened? The referee obviously files a report, and then what?
Okay, the referee will file a report and that will come into the discipline department. The discipline department will look at the report in detail and ascertain what's taken place. As I said before, is it poor practice? Is it threatening behaviour? Or is it indeed, unfortunately, an assault? If we take the middle stance, for example, if we're looking at threatening behaviour, the discipline department would obviously then ensure that it's got all the information it needs and any other additional witness statements. From a refereeing point of view, the first thing I would do is make contact with the referee to make sure that the referee is okay and identify if there were any other issues that haven't already been reported. So again, we can then feed that back to the discipline department and then provide support and guidance to the referee.
So what does the future hold in terms of preventing referee abuse?
Currently, we're in this in a transition period, dare I say. 5-10 years ago it was acceptable that abuse was the norm. We're now in this period whereby people have been given guidance, support, the Respect programme that we've discussed, and they understand that abuse and unacceptable behaviour from the touchlines is not acceptable. However, I don't think that's going to change today. I think in 10 to 15 years' time, I think we will see whereby you've got those youngsters who are now starting in the game, who are being brought up in the right manner. And what I mean by that is when they're playing football, their behaviour, how managers react, how parents react, their behaviours are certainly improving. So I think, in 10 to 15 years' time, whilst we won't have eradicated it in totally, I think we'll see a vast improvement on where we are today.
Perfect, thank you, Andy.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
So while referee abuse may never be completely preventable, everyone has a part to play to make referees' lives easier, whether you're a player, a manager, or even a supporter. For more on this referee abuse investigation, be sure to visit BBC Radio 5 Live podcasts.